Stanley Milgram, a name synonymous with controversial yet groundbreaking social psychology experiments, forever changed our understanding of obedience to authority. Born in 1933, Milgram's Jewish heritage profoundly impacted his scientific curiosity, especially in the aftermath of World War II. The horrors of the Holocaust, where seemingly ordinary people participated in unimaginable atrocities, became his central research focus. Milgram sought to answer the perplexing question: could it be that Adolf Eichmann and his million accomplices in the Holocaust were just following orders? Were they all simply cogs in a machine driven by obedience? Milgram's academic journey led him to Harvard University, where he earned his PhD in social psychology. His fascination with obedience intensified, leading him to design a series of experiments that would challenge conventional notions of morality and free will. In 1961, while at Yale University, Milgram conducted his most famous experiment, the behavior study of obedience. This experiment, though ethically controversial, unveiled a chilling truth about human nature. Ordinary individuals, under the influence of an authority figure, could be compelled to inflict pain on an innocent person. Milgram's work transcended the confines of academia, sparking widespread debate and forcing humanity to confront uncomfortable truths about its capacity for blind obedience. Milgram's behavior study of obedience, conducted in a basement laboratory at Yale University, utilized a simple yet ingenious experimental design. Participants, recruited from the local community, believed they were participating in a study about memory and learning. They were assigned the role of teacher, while an accomplice of the experimenter played the role of learner. The learner, strapped to a chair with electrodes, was tasked with memorizing word pairs. For each incorrect answer, the teacher was instructed to administer increasingly severe electric shocks, ranging from 15 volts, labeled slight shock, to 450 volts, marked ijskeks. Unbeknownst to the participants, the shocks were not real. The learner, a trained actor, simulated pain and distress with remarkable realism. As the experiment progressed and the supposed voltage increased, the learner's pleas for mercy grew more desperate. Many participants, visibly distressed by the learner's suffering, hesitated and questioned the experimenter. However, the experimenter, clad in a lab coat and exuding an air of authority, prodded them to continue with a series of standardized prompts. Please continue. The experiment requires that you continue, and you have no other choice. You must go on. The results of Milgram's experiment were nothing short of astonishing. Contrary to expert predictions that only a tiny fraction of participants would administer the highest shock level, a staggering 65% of participants delivered the full 450-volt shock. These findings sent shockwaves through the scientific community and beyond, revealing the immense power of situational factors in shaping human behavior. Even more surprisingly, Milgram's variations on the original experiment revealed that factors like proximity to the victim, the legitimacy of the authority figure, and the presence of dissenting voices significantly influenced obedience levels. Milgram's obedience experiments, while groundbreaking in their findings, ignited a firestorm of ethical controversy that continues to this day. Critics argued that the experiments inflicted severe psychological distress on participants, who believed they were causing real harm to another human being. The use of deception, the potential for lasting psychological harm, and the coercive nature of the experimenter's prompts all raised serious ethical concerns. These concerns led to significant changes in the way psychological research is conducted. The British Psychological Society (BPS) guidelines, for instance, emphasized the importance of informed consent, the right to withdraw from an experiment at any time, and the minimization of harm to participants. Milgram's experiments, conducted in an era of less stringent ethical oversight, clearly violated several of these principles. Despite the ethical dilemmas they pose, Milgram's experiments remain a cornerstone of social psychology. They serve as a stark reminder of the power of situational forces and the potential for ordinary people to commit acts of harm under pressure from authority. The debate surrounding Milgram's legacy centers on the trade-off between scientific advancement and the ethical treatment of research participants. The ethical storm surrounding Milgram's experiments ignited a crucial conversation within the field of psychology. How can we study complex social phenomena like obedience ethically? Fortunately, researchers have developed alternative approaches that mitigate the ethical concerns while still providing valuable insights into the dynamics of obedience. One such approach is the use of scenario studies. Instead of subjecting participants to potentially distressing real-life situations, researchers present them with hypothetical scenarios involving obedience dilemmas. By asking participants how they would respond in such situations, researchers can glean insights into the factors that influence obedience without exposing anyone to harm. Another approach is role-playing, where participants act out different roles in obedience scenarios. This method allows for a deeper exploration of the psychological dynamics at play without the need for deception or potential harm. Observational studies conducted in real-world settings like workplaces or schools offer another avenue for studying obedience ethically. By observing how people behave in naturally occurring situations involving authority, researchers can gather valuable data without manipulating the environment or deceiving participants. Finally, computer simulations provide a safe and controlled environment for studying obedience. By creating virtual environments that mimic real-life obedience scenarios, researchers can manipulate variables and observe behavior without any risk of harm to participants. These alternative methods, while perhaps lacking the visceral impact of Milgram's original experiments, offer ethical and insightful ways to continue exploring the complexities of obedience in the 21st century.